it's Kathy Cassidy. I'm here with chapter 17 of Love from Lexie, so we are definitely getting through the story. It's getting kind of exciting. And before I actually begin today with chapter 17, I wanted just to give a couple more shout outs to people. To Sophia, who asked for a shout out, to my lovely friends Doreen, Martin and Jan, who are in lockdown on their own, because I know that's really hard. To awesome friends Rosanna, Martin and James, who are in lockdown in Italy. To Joan and Anna, who are being real heroes. To friends of ours in Liverpool, helping in the community and keeping everybody going. To Ord and all my friends near and far and readers everywhere. Okay, so those are my shout outs for today, and if you fancy a shout out at some point, just leave me a message and I'll do what I can. So chapter 17 is called In the Artist's Studio, and if you remember, the kids have found this amazing old railway carriage and they would really like to make that their practice space. So let's see whether they're allowed to do it. Will it do? Jake asks as he closes up the railway carriage again. What do you think, Lexie? Out in the May sunshine, the strange, haunted feeling lifts away as if it never happened at all, and I focus instead on how amazing the old railway carriage is. Tell Louisa Winter we'll do anything, I tell Jake, suddenly desperate for this place to be ours, for a few weeks, for a few hours a week, at least. We'll clean it up, paint the walls, box up all her personal stuff. We'll be respectful. We won't bother anybody. And the noise shouldn't be an issue because we'd be so far away from the house. Tell her yourself, Jake says, and before I can protest, he tugs my arm and I'm walking with him up to the house. Bex and Happy hang back on the path in theory so as not to overwhelm Miss Winter, but in practice because it's a slightly weird situation and nobody is quite sure how to approach it. Jake rings the bell. It echoes through the house, clanging and ominous. Moments later, the door swings open and there is Louisa Winter. She is tiny, a slender figure in a long linen art smock, smudged and streaked with oil paint. She's elderly, of course, with laughter lines around her red lipsticked mouth and feathery crow's feet radiating out from startling jade green eyes. Most amazing of all is her hair, a messy tangle of blazing auburn dragged back from her face, secured with a tortoiseshell clip and speared through with a couple of paintbrushes that stick out at alarming angles. I've never seen such a striking woman. She might not be young, but she has style and attitude by the bucket load. She manages to look somehow fierce and otherworldly at the same time. Jake, she says, and then her gaze moves to me. And do I know you, young lady? You look very familiar, but I can't quite place you. Perhaps it's just that you remind me of someone. Have we met? I don't think so, I say as brightly as I can. My name is Lexie Lawler. I was born in Scotland, but I've lived here since I was 9. Ah, just my old eyes playing tricks, she says. Take no notice of me. So, Jake and Lexie, what can I do for you? Miss Winter, Jake says politely, I wondered if you could help us. My friends and I are in a band and we've been practicing in the meeting room at Bridge Street Library. Lexie here is one of the songwriters. She's very talented, and the others too. He gestures vaguely at Happy and Bex, who wave awkwardly from the path. Jake ploughs on. But now they're closing the library. Louisa Winter frowns. Fools, she snaps. I saw it in the paper. What are they thinking of? They'll be burning books next, and we all know where that leads. Anarchy, chaos, and wickedness. The death of culture. I bite my lip, a little alarmed at the thought. I think it's wrong, I blurt out clumsily. We're trying to stop them, but I don't think they'll listen to us. Louisa Winter tilts her head to one side, thoughtful. Look, you'd better come in, she says. I was just about to put the kettle on. Come along, all of you. Don't skulk there on the path. Bex and Happy run up the steps and all four of us enter the hallway, closing the heavy door behind us. Louisa Winter strides away, her ancient lace-up boots tap-tapping on the tiled floor. We follow her into a big cluttered studio, flooded with light and filled with easels, canvases, tables strewn with brushes and tubes of paint. An outsized Swiss cheese plant jostles for space with a giant tribal shield and a huge age-speckled mirror and vintage shop mannequin draped in red velvet. Two paint-stained antique sofas are boxed in by stacks of paintings in various stages of completion. Wow, I whisper, breathing in the smell of turps and oil paint and linseed oil along with the aura of mystery. Just wow. It's a privilege to see your studio, Miss Winter, Happy says, always the most polite. I've seen one of your paintings before in the art gallery in town. It was amazing. The one of the woman holding a fox. That's right, Louisa Winter said. I'm glad you liked it. And you are? Happy, she says. This is Bex. Well, let's get the kettle on and find some mugs, shall we? Louisa Winter says. Jake, you'll find tea and milk and sugar on the counter over there. Biscuits too, I think. If you could bring them all over and rinse a few mugs so there's enough for everyone. Sit down, girls. Make yourselves at home. We squash awkwardly on the sofas, balancing mugs of dark brown tea and clutching iced biscuits, our eyes scanning the studio, taking everything in. I've never seen the painting in the art gallery, the one Lexie mentioned, but I can see half a dozen paintings now, and they're incredible. Louisa Winter seems to specialise in big canvases depicting stylised people and animals. The paintings look mystical and timeless, the women doe-eyed and trance-like. Ivy twines around the arms of the woman in the painting closest to me, snaking its way up through her hair. Louisa Winter perches at the end of one sofa, sipping her tea from a vintage china cup. So, she says, was it just the library you wanted to talk about, or is there something else? It's kind of linked, Jake says. Bridge Street Library is shutting early from now on, so our band has nowhere to practice. We're looking for somewhere big enough, somewhere we won't get in anyone's way. Sheddy mentioned you'd asked him to do up the old railway carriage so Mum and Willow could use one of the rooms as a holistic treatment centre. And you thought you'd use it for band practice too? Louisa Winter asks. I see. Are you saying you could share that space? Plan out times to use it? Jake shrugs. Mum and Willow only want to use the bedroom bit anyway, for aromatherapy, massage and reflexology and stuff. There's a door at that end too, and a little hallway that could act as a waiting room. The two parts of the railway carriage can be totally separate if we keep the connecting door closed. It's no problem as long as we don't practice when they've got clients. We could definitely make it work. Well, if there's only 4 of you, the old lady muses. There's 12, actually, I say bravely. It was kind of hard to exclude anyone. And we have an amazing sound. Trumpet and violins, cello, keyboard, flute, and the usual drums and guitar, obviously. Obviously, Louisa Winter says. 12 people, my goodness. It sounds very interesting. What do you play, Jake? The triangle, he says, deadpan. Well, no, I don't play anything. I'm more of the tech guy, really. Or the publicist, or the roadie, maybe. We'll be no trouble, Miss Winter. You'd hardly know we were there. Ha! I've heard that one before, she says. A few people have stayed there on and off over the years. Ked Wilder was here a lot, of course. David hid here for a week to do some songwriting and scandalised the locals by wandering about the park in a maxi dress. Her eyes shine, lost in memories of long ago, and then she blinks and shakes her head. Lots of people popped in and out, but not for a while now, she muses. I did a favour for a friend's daughter 10 or 15 years ago, and let's just say it didn't work out. I suppose you can use it. You seem like nice enough kids. You'll have to look after it, though, or the deal is off. It needs clearing out and painting. I've talked to Sheddy about that. But why not? It'll be good to have some young people about the place again, and some music. Would there be a charge? Bex asks. A rent? Of course not. Why would I want to take your money? Always supposing you have any. We don't, Happy says. That's the problem. Not to me, the old lady says. Just use the place. Don't wreck it. Is that a yes? I check. Really? Louisa Winter laughs. It's a yes, she says. Okay, so that's the end of chapter 17. Call in tomorrow and we'll listen to chapter 18 together. Thanks so much, all of you, for sticking with this and for listening. I don't know whether some of you are binge watching and some of you are watching, chapter by chapter every evening or whatever. I hope it's helping a little bit of escapism for you. We're in kind of towards the end of week 3 now in lockdown, and it's not easy, I know that, but we will get through this together. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.